The difference between outstanding and average is what you do when it gets hard. The reason why you don't follow through on your vision is because you don't trust it enough. Burnout is real, but I think most burnout happens because people are not doing the thing that they actually love doing.
Top 10, I got a top 10. Got my motivation high for my top 10. Gotta learn from the wise women and men. All my life, like 9 for my top 10, top 10, 9 This one's for my top 10.
Need motivation?
Watch a top 10 with Believe Nation.
Hey, this is Evan Carmichael, and this channel is created to help you overcome the #1 challenge that is holding you back, a lack of belief in yourself. You watch these videos because you know there's something greater inside you as well. You have Michael Jordan level talent at something. So get ready to know your why and how. Expect the hard times and trust your vision with my husband Evan Carmichael and his top 10 rules for success. Okay, let's kick it off with rule number 1. Know your why and how.
So let's start with this. Purpose is not passion. They're related, but they're not the same thing. Passion is also not that hard to figure out. Neither is purpose. People just have not been given the right tools. So let's simplify it for you today. And if you're someone who's struggling to figure out what your purpose and your passion are, this video is going to be insanely helpful for you. I have a who, why, how process. Who is your most important core value? We're not going to dive into that in this video, but the next two are your why and your how. Your why is your purpose and your how is your passion. So let's start with purpose. Your purpose is your why. Your purpose comes from your pain. Your purpose is whatever the thing you struggled with the most in life. Think back to the most painful moment in your life. What was it? What was happening? What was around you? What was that moment? For positive, entrepreneur, optimistic people, this actually might be a challenge. For me, it was a challenge because I don't want to think about the bad past. I don't want to think about what happened to me. I'm focused on what I'm doing now and going forward, not rearview mirror stuff. What happened back then doesn't matter, except it does. Because the thing that will fill you up the most is helping people who are currently going through the thing that you struggled with the most. So whatever was the most painful moment in your life, from when you're born until right now, that you can remember, not physical pain, psychological pain, mental pain, the thing that made you feel terrible. What was that thing? Your purpose is to help other people who are feeling that right now. And so imagine who you are now and imagine who you used to be, whether that's a year ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. Go back to whoever that person was. Let's just say it's 5 years ago. Great. The person you are now can help the person who you were 5 years ago. You may not have all the answers. You're still on your path. You don't know everything, but you've grown. You've come out of the hole. You're better than you were 5 years ago. Talk to the person you were 5 years ago. Helping that person is your purpose. You've climbed up the staircase, right? You've grown. There's still a lot more stairs to grow. You don't want the staircase to end. That staircase is your growth, is your professional and personal development for life. You want to keep climbing. And every time you take a step, what you want to do is reach down and help somebody else up. But you can only help people to the extent that you've grown. If you've taken 8 steps on the staircase, that's all you can help people up to get to step number 8. If you get to 20, you can help people more. So we want to keep growing, keep climbing those stairs, and then keep reaching back and pulling people up and giving them a hand. That's your purpose for life. You'll like serving people and helping people, and it's tied to your core value, your who, your one word. We're not talking about it much in this video, but you'll just like helping people because service is hardwired into our brain. Helping people is hardwired to your brain. It has a similar impact on your brain as food and sex. It's hardwired. You'll like it. You want to help people. You want to serve. But who you serve will be different. It'll have a different impact. I love helping people in general, but if you're an entrepreneur, that's something extra special. There's so many great causes in the world. There's so many great causes. Why this instead of this? Because you have an emotional connection to it, an emotional attachment to it. Why? Because you went through it. Because you suffered through it, and you want to make sure that nobody else has to suffer as much as you suffered. Your purpose comes from your pain, period. It'll fill you up for life. Helping entrepreneurs will fill me up for the rest of my life. It will never get old. When I'm tired, when I have no energy, when I'm depleted, I will still meet with entrepreneurs because it fills me up. Your purpose comes from your pain. You have to find it. Now let's talk about passion. So your passion is your how. Your passion is the things that you're doing, how you're gonna actually execute against your why, execute against your purpose. What are you doing? It's great that you believe in entrepreneurs, amazing, but what are you going to do? How are you gonna go about doing it? So for me, it's making videos. For me, it's doing speaking gigs. For me, it's writing books. For me, it's helping people one-on-one. For me, it's doing events, right? That's my how. But that will evolve, that will change. Right? I started doing this helping entrepreneur thing when I was 22 years old. And that started just by doing speaking. And then it became my website. And I had 100,000 plus pages of content. And then I shut the thing down overnight and I focused on YouTube. And it's been a 10-year plus journey on YouTube. And maybe in 10 years that's gone and I'm doing something totally different. I don't know, the how will change a lot. What you get passionate about, or to Mel's point about energy, what you get energy about will change with time. But it has to be connected to your purpose. Just because it gives you energy, it's not going to fill you up. It's got to be connected to a deeper source, which is your purpose.
Rule number 2, expect a hard time.
The difference between outstanding and average is what you do when it gets hard. People with an average mindset only do things when it's easy. Because it's easy, anyone can do it. But life is coming for you. Setbacks, they're coming for you. And that's what separates the average from the outstanding. Your goals, they don't count until it's hard. So I had a new guy on my team who was writing to me to say, Evan, it's super important, this is urgent, I need help with my schedule. I'm just not staying consistent, I'm not staying on my goals. I know what I want to get done for you, but also for my life, and it's not, unless it's some deadline or you're on me, it's not happening. I'm not consistent on it. How do I get going? How do I stay consistent? And so we worked together through the schedule and we created his calendar and said, what are your goals? And put it in your calendar and how do you want each day to go? And he plotted out his Saturday to Sunday, the whole week. And then I asked him, okay, now put in your morning routine. What do you want to do every day? Right, so he plotted that into his calendar. Now he's got this weekly schedule of what he's going to do every morning and then every day doing different things and how he wants his ideal life to go. Awesome. And then I told him what really mattered. Like, this is great. Your actions map to your ambitions. It's really important. But following through on your calendar doesn't count until it's hard. Maybe today is going to be easy for you. Maybe tomorrow's easy for you because we talked, because you're motivated, because you're inspired. It's like, yeah, I'm going to go do it. Awesome. What happens when you don't sleep well? What happens when something happens in your family? What happens when the website crashes? What happens when something happens? What happens when you've lost some motivation, energy? What happens when you get some bad news? What happens? What do you do? This is where most people crumble. This is where most people, as soon as there's one little tiny thing that interrupts them, they're gone. They fall off their entire schedule and routine. Your goals suddenly don't matter anymore. You don't think they're possible. Your goals don't count until they're hard. That's what I told them. I said, listen to me. This is a great plan. That life that you wrote, that's a great life. What you wrote down on your calendar, that's a great life for you. That's what you want. Imagine if you did that every day for the next year. How different would your life look like 1 year from today? If you were consistent on staying like, oh yeah, amazing, great. Doesn't count until it's hard. None of this matters until it's hard. Life is coming for you. Get ready. And what I want him and I want you to realize is that you need to expect it. Because you're working your calendar and it's great, and here we go, we're hitting our objectives and going for our goals. And then when something hits us in the face, you're surprised by it. You're shocked. And then you fall off course. Don't be surprised. Expect it. Expect the difficulty. Expect the road bump. Expect somebody to punch you in the face. Like, expect it. It's coming. And this is your chance to be outstanding. Because everybody else is going to be average.
Rule number 3, trust your vision.
The reason why you don't follow through on your vision is because you don't trust it enough. It makes sense that it's going to happen, but it's not happening yet. People aren't saying yes, there's no momentum, there's no money coming in, and you start to wonder, who am I to have this big dream? So then there's this temptation to give up and go do something else and not follow through on your vision. But you know in the back of your head, you know that eventually for someone, it's going to work out. You need to stay on it. You need to follow through. Otherwise, someone else is going to make money off of your idea. They're going to make it happen without you. So look at what I'm trying to do here with this channel, with my YouTube content, with my mission, my purpose. I'm trying to solve the world's biggest problem. I want to spread more belief, right? The world's biggest problem is that people don't believe in themselves enough. I think everybody is a genius. Everybody has Michael Jordan level talent at something. They're just not living it. They're not doing it. They're not expressing it. And so they end up living a life that they don't like, knowing that they're capable of more. Like, this is the problem I'm trying to solve. It's one that I'm never going to fully solve in my lifetime. And I wake up every day trying to do it. And it's easy to get up and think, well, there's so many people trying to do the same thing. There's Tony Robbins and there's all these other people. Who am I to go off and do this? And I remind myself that I may not be Tony Robbins. I may not ever have as big an impact. I may not sell as many books as Simon Sinek. I may never have that big an impact. But I was able to help some people. You know, we have 2 million subscribers across the channels. We have 300 million views across the channels. It's having an impact. It's helping people. I can get better. I need to get better. But what I'm doing is already having an impact and helping people. So I need to keep going. And that's what I find really helpful. Just reminding yourself that you matter, that the work you do matters. Even if it hit one person, it made a difference. It matters. And so you have to follow through.
Rule number 4, be your biggest critic and fan.
You need to be your biggest critic as well as your biggest fan. People are usually their biggest critics. You point out all the flaws. You tell yourself all the reasons why you suck. I actually think that's a good thing. Being your biggest critic forces you to get better, but it's only healthy if it's paired with you also being your biggest fan. You think that you suck, but you also feel like you're amazing, like you're a gift to the world, like you're the best thing ever. You suck and you're amazing. You're the worst and you're the best, both. I think that's the healthy balance. You have to be your biggest critic as well as your biggest fan, both at the same time.
Also, if you want to have more motivation and confidence, check out our 254 series. The link is in the description below.
The people who win work the hardest because they love what they do.
Create an outline and a schedule. What I found really helpful for me was to create an outline at the start.
If you're doing work that you love, you're more likely to follow through. You're more likely to do it because it doesn't feel like work, because you love doing it.
Rule number 5, push yourself to the extreme.
People don't push themselves to the extreme. They just don't. It's because it's too hard. It's too crazy hard that you're not likely to do it on your own. And so I think when those opportunities come, learning to embrace them, learning to take them on, learning to say, this is my chance to show myself and the world what I am made of. This is my chance. But is it still your limit? So let me give you a couple examples. This morning, I woke up and I didn't have a lot of sleep. I went to bed at 3 something last night. I woke up at 7:20 this morning. I turned off the alarm, but still woke up at 7:20, force a habit. And I'm not on a lot of sleep, and I need to make a bunch of videos for you guys. And I want to bring my best, and I put pressure on myself that every video needs to be my best. I want it to be better. I want to grow. I don't want to just do the same thing over and over and over again. But it's a challenge. And so it's easy to say, oh, I'm so tired. Oh, I don't have energy. Oh, I wish I slept more. Or an excuse after excuse. But no, I'm going to go do it. And here I am. And I've made, I don't know how many videos already today. I'm closing in on finishing up. And I still have energy. And I'm pumped for how it went. And the story I'm telling myself is I'm awesome. Like, I had very little sleep. It's not how I want to be living every day. But when that happens, what do you do? How do you stand up? How do you show yourself what you're made of? But even that is not the biggest extreme. You know, like, I feel like I'm capable of way more. My tour was the most that I'd ever pushed myself. Not just mentally, not just facing fears, but physically pushing myself. Where I broke my neck in 2 spots. I had a concussion. I've never had a concussion before. It was wild. Don't wish it on anybody if you haven't experienced it yet. I had 3 staples in my head. I compressed my spine. It was brutal. And I had to cancel my event in Denver where I was because it was that night. And then the next one was going to be in Kansas City. This is what I wore for 60 days. I wore these and I took them off for 10 minutes a day. 60 days, right? Like, this is what I'm made of. This is what I'm capable of. I'm complaining about having 4 hours sleep. I had my neck broken and continued on my tour. Across the US for 30 more days and another 30 days here in Toronto, seeing entrepreneurs sitting in pain at the front of the room with ice packs and pillows and not quitting and going home, even though I was in massive pain. Like, this is who I am. And I'm complaining about not having sleep the night before, right? Like, perspective. The greatest point on the tour for me was in Kansas City. It was my next stop. We refunded everybody the money because I wasn't going to be able to go for 3 hours. But I said, hey, we already booked this hotel venue. You guys already booked your night off. Why don't you just come out anyway? Just come on out and I'll go for an hour and take pictures and say hi and just show some Kansas City love. And I showed up and we went for an hour and a half. And then my wife pulled me off because my lips were starting to get dry because I wasn't being able to, answer questions as clearly as I'd like because I was still suffering from the concussion. The neck pain is one thing. That's just sitting still. I can't do anything about it. But the concussion, you're not supposed to think. You're not supposed to have conversations. It makes the recovery worse. And so she was watching me like a hawk the whole night. She's watching me. And then she sees me start to fade. He's like, okay, that's it. I got to take Evan home. Quick pictures and we got to go. I've never been pulled off a stage before. Never for sucking or definitely for a physical issue. Never. It's never happened. This was me at my physical limit. That was it. I was done. I had actually nothing left. Like somebody had to come and say, you are done. The best, right? I mean, it sucked, but at the same time, it's like, man, this is it. I got to the edge. I got to the physical limitation. I can't go anymore. I'm being told I need to step down. And there's something so amazing that you feel about yourself that you were able to go that far. Now, you don't want to do that every day. You want to take care of your health. Of course. Don't do stupid things. And at the same time, the pride, the feeling of awesomeness that you hit that mark, I can't explain. So I started telling the people around me, my wife, my agent, the people on the tour, that we're planning a 2020 tour, and it's not gonna be as good. This will be great. We're gonna hit 23 cities, 90 days, East Coast, Texas, Mexico, Montreal. It's gonna be fun, but it won't be as good because I'm not gonna break my neck, right? I'm not gonna forcefully go break my neck just because, right? That's stupid. Don't do that. don't go do that just because. And so I'm not going to face the same challenge. And so the point is, I'll still have a great time. It'll still be amazing. But what we went through, what I had to go through in 2019, this year, is foundational. Like, I'm going to remember this forever. This is who I am. This is who I am. Not the guy who thinks that 4 hours sleep and making some videos is a big deal, right? It just resets who you are and reminds you if you step up to the challenge of what you're capable of.
Rule number 6, ignore the bad advice.
The people who are telling you that your idea won't work are not the people whose life that you want. So why are you listening to them? Your Uncle Joe, your Aunt Susan, the rest of your family, the people who you grew up with from high school, look at their life. Look at their life right now. Take away their words and what they're telling you, remove the emotion from it. Look at their life. Do you want a life like theirs? Because their advice will lead to a life like theirs. If not, then you probably should be doing the exact opposite of what they're telling you to do. Now, I think there's two types of people who will give you negative feedback. You got the haters, and then you got the people who are just ignorant. And there's a big difference between those two. So let's start with the haters. The haters, I call the little man, the haters, their entire role in their life is to bring other people down. Maybe they took their shot. This is actually quite frequent. They took their shot, they tried, they didn't work, they failed, and so now nobody around them can be successful. They get their value, they get their self-love by destroying other people because it makes them feel better about themselves. It's like watching some train wreck on reality TV show, right? Watching relationships and lives fall apart because it makes you feel better about your life. You feel better about your life when you see somebody else's life be a total mess, right? Those are the haters. Now, how do you deal with them? It starts by understanding that if you believe, like I believe, that humans are built to serve, right? People are built to serve. You want to do good. People are good, right? Both of those things. Humans are good and we're built to serve. Then what would get somebody who is good and built to serve to leave a nasty, negative comment or to tell you that you suck or your idea is not going to work out? What would drive them to do it? They really hate their life, right? Like empathy is the first step. Just feeling bad for them, not sympathy and using that as a negative against them. Not saying, well, your life sucks, so I'm not going to. that's not gonna help anything. It's actual genuine empathy. If the highlight of somebody's day is coming to this video and leaving a negative comment, it's okay. I feel bad for that person. If that's the highlight of your day, then you must be in a really rough spot if you believe that people are good and they're built to serve. And so what that does is remove the sting out of the comment. When somebody is raging on you that you suck and that your idea is never gonna work, having empathy to understand, wow, this person is likely in a really tough spot, that removes the sting of the words and allows you to then be more practical, less emotional, to respond emotionally and feel like, oh my God, maybe they're right. Maybe they have a point. Maybe I do suck. Say, wait a minute. This person, they hate their life. Why am I listening to them? Right? Just like the wake up call out of the head game that you're in. Listen to their advice. So those are the haters. Remove the sting and then allow you to make a practical decision. The second part are the people who are ignorant. They're your friends, your family, the people around you who they actually love you, right? Chances are your parents love you. Your mom probably loves you, right? Most moms love their kids. Your parents probably love you. So why would they be telling you not to go do something? Why would they be telling you advice against what you want to hear? Because they grew up in a different era. Your parents are pilgrims. Your parents don't understand the world that exists. Your parents don't understand that you can have a full-time business from this. It doesn't make sense. When your parents were your age, they couldn't do the things that you can do. So they want you to be successful. The people around you who love you want you to be successful. They have a different definition of success. Success to them looks different than it does for you because they're from a different era, and that's okay. Again, starting point is empathy. Understand that these words that are coming out of their mouth is love. They're trying to express love. They're concerned for you. They want you to win. They just have a different version of what winning looks like.
Rule number 7, do what you love.
Burnout is real, but I think most burnout happens because people are not doing the thing that they actually love doing. It's not just about being busy and keeping your mind occupied all day. You can be busy and hate your life and get burnt out. If I was an accountant, I would hate my life and burn out in a day because I don't like being an accountant. But doing this thing that I love, I put in way more effort, way more work, and I love it. It's been 10 plus years of still having my YouTube channel and I'm not burnt out. If anything, I'm pushing harder than ever before because I love it. And so I think it's not just about being busy, it's about being busy on the thing that is your mission for life. Now, compassion fatigue is a thing. Doing it so much that you burn out yourself is possible. But again, that is not why most people are burning out. Most people, I believe, are burning out because they're spending too much time, too much energy, too much effort doing things that they hate. And if you wake up and hate your life and hate the job you're about to go to, then there's no wonder why you feel like you're burning out. So I recently came back from going to Tony Robbins' event in Dallas. He invited me to sit in the front row, and super blessed and grateful to have Tony's support. And I went there with Alex, friend of the channel, who helps me run Trying to Dance Salsa. And we were on a super crunch timeline because Alex was teaching classes the evening before we left and then the day of the last event. And we rushed down there. Alex was flying in just to get to the event. He's late on the first day. We're rushing to leave on the last day. And it's nonstop. If you've been to a Tony Robbins event, it's all day, all night. It's 8 in the morning to midnight and then up again the next day and doing the same thing. And it's wild and it's fun, it's amazing. And my favorite thing to do whenever I travel is actually meet Believe Nation, meet you guys. And so all through the event, I wear my Believe hoodie, and I'm not wearing Grant stuff, I'm wearing Evan Carmichael stuff with the plane and the Believe on the back, and people are stopping me. And that's actually the best. It doesn't take away from my experience. Tony's often on stage at the top at the beginning of every event saying, hey, I have some friends of mine, you might know them, they might be celebrities, leave them alone, don't talk to them, let them have their own experience. And it always makes me sad when he says that, because for me, meeting you guys, meeting people who recognize me, and that's a group that I over-index because people who watch Tony videos, they're probably gonna find my content. I like it more when people come and say hi. It adds to the experience for me. And then on the last day, before we rushed out to go to the airport, I set up a meetup, right? I had an hour open before having to get to the airport, so let's do a meetup. Let's do a local Dallas, Richardson, Texas meetup, right? And it could have spent the time doing something else or sleeping in or writing my book or doing anything else. But it's not burnout for me. Like that fuels me. That gives me more energy. I love it. Hanging out with Believe Nation gives me more energy than it takes away. And I then took an Uber to get to the airport, and the guy who drove the Uber was actually in the meetup in Richardson. He's like, I gotta leave early because I gotta start my job. Okay, great. And then I book an Uber, and there he is. A total fluke, but amazing. And so it's a lot of work. You know, I was all day, all night, not connecting with my team, not doing the things that I'm supposed to be doing, and then I still make time to be with people and make a 1 hour meetup because that hour was open, and it fuels me. But if it was something that I hated, just that half an hour, just 15 minutes, I'd start to feel like I'm burning out. Like I don't want to be here. Like this is terrible. And so I think it's really important that you're doing work that you love. That would be a burnout for other people, but not a burnout for you because you love it so much.
Rule number 8, don't have any regret.
You rarely regret the things that you do. It's what you don't do that you regret the most. It's all the missed opportunities, the times you wanted to say yes but were afraid, the moments that you wanted to bet on yourself but you were scared. Those moments, that's what you want to minimize, because it's way better to know and to fail than to never know at all.
Rule number 9, do difficult things.
Self-confidence comes from doing difficult things, from trying, failing, getting back up, and trying again a different way. Your goals don't count until they're hard. You won't make yourself proud unless it's hard, and it's time to start making yourself proud of your effort. So I'm in the process of writing a new book. And I sent the book out to 30 of my friends and friends of friends to get their feedback. And I'm on a crazy deadline with the publisher. I got it here. This is the copy. This is what I gave out to 30 different people. And they gave me all the books back on the same day. And then what I had to do was go through each copy and underline. I underlined, can you see? Kind of blurry. I underlined, anytime they underlined, I underlined. Because I wanted to see what they cared about, as well as catching typos and everything else. And I looked at that pile of books. I had 30 books I had to get through in one day. I had to basically read my own book 30 different times, make one master copy, underline it the whole day. And it stressed me out. I looked at that stack of books and said, how am I gonna get through all this stuff? And then I just started taking action. I just started doing it. And here's the thing, halfway through, I started getting massive pain. My neck was really hurting me. My back was really hurting me. My neck mostly because I broke my neck in March and I'm still healing and recovering from it. And I had to spend the whole time like this, right? I got the books here on the table and I'm flipping through it and I'm doing this. And it takes a toll the whole day doing it like this. So a couple hours in, I'm having massive neck pain. It's the best, right? Like I gotta get through it. This is the time. It doesn't count until it's hard. I don't want to be doing this every single day, right? If that's every day, you need to change your life, you need to change your habits. But in those rare moments, when you get the chance to push yourself, either physically, mentally, or just courage, because you're afraid of doing something, that's your chance. That's your chance to show yourself what you're made of.
And rule number 10, a very last one before the bonus clip, is serve.
Humans are built to serve, period. Serving others is hardwired into our brain. It triggers the same area of your brain as food and sex. If you're not happy, it's because you're not serving. Either serving the world on this big mission that you have, or serving the 25 closest people to you. If you're not happy, it's because you're not serving. So one of the hacks that I do in my life to get me to do the things that I'm afraid of or don't want to do is through service. If I can connect any of my actions, like making videos, I don't necessarily like just sitting here talking to a camera, but I connect it to service. That I'm making this video, people are gonna watch it, hopefully get inspired enough to take some kind of action and it's meaningful to their life or business. That makes me feel good, that's service. As soon as I can connect the action to service, I am all in. And that's the way to hack me. You want something from me, whether it's my wife or my team or general public, if it makes me feel like this will serve other people and it will have a big impact, then it's much easier for me to get a yes. It's easier for me to say I am in.
Now I have a very special bonus clip I think you can enjoy. But before that, it's time for the 3 important landing questions. Time to go from watching the video to taking action. Here we go. Question number 1. What difficult things will you do this week? Number 2, what's a bad advice that you need to ignore? And number 3, what's your why and how? And if you made it this far in this video and you're still watching, we want to celebrate with you. Give me a hashtag believe in the comment below.
Cold calling still works, it's just not as effective anymore. Advertising on cable TV still works, it's just not as effective anymore. Billboards still work, just not as effective anymore. Success in any field will come down to both working smart and working hard. You need both. Lots of people work hard and never get anywhere. They never get results. They stay small. But they're working hard. And lots of people work smart, but they never win because they're not working hard enough. It's the combination. You need both. So the message I take from Dan here is you need to work hard. That you have a goal and you attack it. That if your goal is to call 200 people a day, that you are off attacking that goal, that you're not giving up, that you're not letting excuses get in the way, that you're not letting other people's judgments or say, hey, take it easy. You want a different life than the people around you. And to do that, you need to work hard and attack your goals daily.
If you want 10 more rules from my husband, Evan Carmichael, check out the video next to me. I think you're gonna enjoy. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
Most people are so afraid of a huge fail that they don't even try. Success is painful. It's a lot of work.